Obamacare's enrollment period has ended, but how many people have actually signed up? Joining me today to discuss this is Edmund Haislmaier of the Heritage Foundation. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So the former Health and Human Services Secretary said that there were 8 million people who had signed up for Obamacare. But did 8 million people actually enroll and pay? How many people have signed
Probably
up?
not. I mean, the figures HHS put out were just for people who had picked a plan, so we don't know if any of those people, or how many of those people completed the transaction, paid for their coverage, and started getting coverage. The other point is that nowhere in the data can we figure out how many of those people were previously uninsured, as opposed to people who had prior coverage, whether in a group plan or an individual plan, and were simply getting new coverage. So that's still uncertain. But what we do now start to see is the data on net changes in the market. We don't have all of it yet, but we do have it through the first quarter.
Well, you and your colleague put together a paper. You looked at the insurance data. Tell me a little bit about the main takeaways of that paper, which they can viewers can find on Heritage Foundation's website.
Right. Well, basically, we looked at the fourth quarter of 2013 and the first quarter of 2014. So that was the open enrollment period of October 1st through March 31st. Now, keep in mind that anybody who really enrolled either on or off the exchange after, say, March 1st probably isn't going to show up in that data. So we're going to have to wait for second quarter data to see the full picture. But that said, what we found in that 6-month period was that there was an increase in net individual market coverage of about 2.2 million people. However, there was a net decline in employer group coverage of about 1.7 million people. So what that works out to is that the decline in employer coverage offset the increase in individual coverage by about 77% of that increase. And at the end, you really only had 520,000 more people insured than you had in October 1.
Do we know how many people were kicked off their insurance because of Obamacare regulations?
We can't tell all of those interactions from that data because, you know, for example, if you were insured with a company and it was a non-compliant plan and they sent you a letter saying, hey, we have to discontinue the plan, under the law prior to Obamacare, they would be required to offer you a substitute plan. Yeah. So maybe some of those people took the substitute plan. So they would still show up on that insurance company's count of how many people. They wouldn't, you know, it would neither go up nor down. Conversely, maybe they took a plan from another insurance company. Well, in that case, the first company would decline by 1 and the second company would grow by 1. But, you know, we just don't know from that data what was actually going on there.
You know, it seems as though we haven't heard too many people complaining about Obamacare lately, like we did a few months ago. Is that because people are satisfied, or what is it? It seems like there hasn't been that much.
Well, I think some of it is what people are experiencing. Their experience now is different. So, for example, several months ago, their experience was frustration in trying to enroll, maybe. Whereas now the experience might be, okay, I'm enrolled, but wait a minute, I found out I can't see my doctor or something. So the stories are a little different. The other thing is that, you know, media, I mean, the media in general just follow whatever is the latest thing. And so you'll see these stories come in batches and go. I'm kind of expecting the next round of stories. We're already seeing some of these are, you know, are new plans being offered. In some cases, there's some carriers who are dropping out. We know of a couple of those. The other thing that might be very interesting coming up is this whole issue of limited networks or narrow networks. That really wasn't an issue in the run-up to the beginning of the exchange last year as plans were offering and negotiating with regulators. This year, there's been a lot of attention to it, and I'm starting to see more stories, and I think it could be interesting to watch over August and September to see if some of these insurers that are planning to offer plans maybe can't reach agreement with the regulators who are now looking more closely at their network and their prices and maybe decide at the last minute, as some did last year, to just say, okay, well, we tried, but in the end, no, we're not going to do it.
Well, that'll be interesting. If there is a battle there, it will certainly become a main issue during the midterm elections.
I mean, again, we'll have more data coming out. As I said, we don't know the full picture, but we will get, sort of 90+% of the picture once we have the second quarter data. I'm expecting to be able to see that end of August, beginning of September. And my colleague and I will be, rewriting or publishing a new paper that incorporates that. And then we'll have a fuller picture of, well, how many people really got coverage and how much of this was just substituting coverage.
Well, I look forward to you writing that paper and coming back on here and
We'll
giving
be
us a full
happy to do
picture.
it again, yeah.
Thank you
it's
so
an ongoing
much.
process.
For PJTV, I'm Michelle Fields. Thank you so much for watching.